is Shop Talk, baby. This is the show where it's okay to be you. We're talking from Yale to jail and from the church house to the pimp house. Nothing's excluded on Shop Talk. So if you don't have a phone, I suggest you borrow one. Call in and voice your opinion live every Saturday morning from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Yeah, that's right, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Don't forget to Shop Talk with your girl, because right here, we keeps it real. Good morning, good morning, good morning to my lovely people. Happy Saturday, everybody. Hey, you're listening to Shop Talk with Mel. I am your girl Mel on every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. I have my lovely co-host today. Let's give it up with Roogle, the movie guy.
Hey, what's up? Your sound is kind of fake.
Well, that's all right. We're going to make it do what it do. That's because I'm back far, too. Look, I'm like, that's because I'm back far. And then let's give it up to Nyk the Voice.
All right.
I promise I won't go off about nothing today, I think.
Yeah, okay. We'll do it. I'm going to turn up I'll turn up the mics a little bit since my sound is not good. How about now? Am I good?
Yes. Well, bless you, Roogle.
God bless you, Roogle. All right, today's topic is profiling, guilty as charged. I think you might go on.
Yeah, listen. Okay.
Yes. Guilty as charged, profiling. We've been profiled for so long, but we too are guilty of profiling. True or false?
True.
What you got, Roogle? Are you guilty of profiling?
Oh, I think, I just want to make one distinction. They say, don't judge, ye be judged, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
I kind of feel like we make judgment calls, but the issue, when I look at profiling, is the power to make action on that preconceived idea of how you view that person. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think I can profile because I don't have the power to implement punitive measures on my profiling. You see?
You always have such great answers.
Yeah, ridiculous ones, I think.
But it's the truth. It's the truth. But here's the thing. Most people profile based off of life experiences or their experiences, so to speak.
Yeah.
Let's be real. And profiling is not all bad because you can look at someone and you can say, you can see how bubbly they are. And if you are that Debbie Downer at the workplace and you got that bubbly person or that you see that bubbly new person coming in for a job interview, you'll be like, here we go. Here's a Samantha coming. You know what I mean? So all profiling isn't bad. And I just believe that, and I'm going to just lump us all into this, are guilty at some point in our life of profiling. You know what I mean? Of profiling.
We got Becky with the good hair. We got Karen. So yeah, we profile. We sure do.
Right.
We talked about this before.
We profile. Listen. And even with I'm gonna be honest. When I see somebody white walking around with a trench coat based off of experience, I'm a little nervous. Do I think they're going to go shoot up the place? I'm just a little nervous and uneasy. Why am I uneasy and nervous? Because we know, like, white people be wearing shorts in the summer. Why you got a coat on? It's shorts in the winter. You know what I mean? And so I'm guilty. And I'll admit it. I'll look and I'll be like, I'm suspect. So now I'm worried. And it's sad because you might not voice it and you don't want to. But I'm looking like I ain't going in there. I'm about to leave. I have done it. I have removed myself from situations that I felt uncomfortable in based off of me profiling. Me profiling, I ain't even gonna lie to you. It is the truth. I see even like what the Gothic people.
Oh yeah.
Listen, when I used to see them back, and we kind of went to school with them, and I used to look, and all it was automatically, I knew it was gonna be some strange music. They ain't call them Gothic back when I was in school, but it was just your heavy metalers, and I was like, okay, it's about to be loud music, boom, boom, boom. So and prejudging people, and we do it, and it's not okay. It's not okay, but I'm guilty. And look at you. You said your Karens. You be seeing Karens a mile away?
Listen, yeah, you can tell a Karen, boy. I'm sorry, there we go profiles again, but you can tell a Karen.
How can you tell a Karen?
All the time. My job and just a Karen. Like, really?
Okay, for those who don't know what a Karen is, go ahead, Nyk. Explain what a Karen is.
Okay, a Karen is, if y'all remember the first white lady in
they don't remember, so you have to tell them what a Karen is. Give them a definition of a Karen.
Ago, there was a white lady named Karen who called the police on some people grilling in the park. Yeah, that was the grilling in the park. So, like, it's not against the law to grill in the park. Why are you calling the police? Her name was Karen. So, all these other events of white women calling the law on black people for little things.
For nothing at all. Just don't on nothing. They're making complaints. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that.
No, I appreciate that. Go ahead.
They're making complaints about little things that's not against the law. They're called Karens now. And now they actually are starting to charge these Karens for false accusations, because you in turn calling the police about something that a black person is doing that is not against the law could potentially get them killed if you have a racist cop. So some of these places started passing laws on these Karens. Good for them.
Okay.
But yes, that's what it is.
Hey, you think Roogle jumped in there because he's guilty of giving the people the charcoal?
Hey, that's what I'm saying. Hey, I tell you, I don't know. My neighbors, if they were to complain about me with charcoal smoke, they'd be upset because I'd be like, freedom! Burn that meat all day long. But I don't know. You just gotta learn to get along with your neighbors.
Basically.
Right
And
now.
sometimes all it is just sit there and get a chance to know somebody. That's all of us. Just get a chance to know that person. You guys might actually have something in common, and but nobody wants to take the time to get to know anybody. It's like,
but
you have some of those people that are just not gonna bend, not gonna do that. Period. They just gonna be evil as I don't know what. But then once you get to know certain people, you'll be surprised.
Pre-COVID, let's talk pre-COVID. Knowing your neighbor. We weren't out there trying to get to know our neighbors. I would say me per se. And, not that I didn't want to know them, but I'm not eating your cake. Don't come bringing me, welcome nothing. And I was there for a long time because I'm not going to eat it. I'm going to be honest with you. But how do you approach people? This is pre-COVID. Pre-COVID. How do you approach your neighbor? How would you approach your neighbor?
I just say hi. Keep it moving.
And keep it moving?
Right. I had that situation when I moved over here to Ohio in Portland. I lived between two older white women.
Uh-huh.
And you would think the one, she was all, gruff. But when we got to know her, she didn't like Sparkle because Sparkle was always barking at her. But once we got to know her, and then the other lady on the side of us, they were the sweetest.
Okay, so how did you approach, just a hi?
Yeah, hello, or Sparkle would run and bark at him, and I would run and get it. Stop yelling, stop barking at people and trying to say, and just, how you doing? I'm sorry, and it just getting to talk like this. So every time I would walk by and I see him, hi, how are you? And then we finally just started talking. And, the one lady, she just gave me the rundown on the neighborhood and some of the neighbors,
Oh, you got a Karen. You was next door to a Karen.
She wasn't a Karen though. She was just, letting me know who lived where and how long they've been there, and just, just little things about the
See,
neighborhood.
that's
How long they lived there.
She got a.
go ahead, Roogle.
That's a 227. She had a, what is her name? Betty used to look out the window.
Yeah, 227.
Was that her name? She had that. I see all. I know.
Now let me tell you this. Let me tell you this. In my it was a guy there that was selling. He was selling security systems. He went across the street to my neighbor, Catacorner, and she gave him the rundown of everybody on the street. This young man kept knocking on my door. He said, "This is the third time I came here." And he wanted to come. So I invited him in, young guy trying to sell the security, whatever. And he gave me the rundown on, I've been on that street for years. He gave me the rundown on everybody in that street, everything that they was going on because of that one particular neighbor. Now, here's what's interesting. He let me know. He said, but funny thing is she knew nothing about you.
Good.
And that's how I felt. I was like, very good. And he wanted to know, all he knew like, when he came in, I let him know he was able to look around and see certain things. And so now he was able to tell because he came and told everybody's business. He knew the work schedules, everything. And somebody on the street, right? See, I watched too many Lifetime movies, okay? And 2020 be real, okay? Because I watched that too. And it's like you telling everybody's business, just talking and don't know exactly what you're saying. And you might be living next door to the killer. You just don't know. So, like I said, I be watching my little movie, so I be feeling some type of way. But I thought it was really interesting that out of all those years, she didn't know anything about me. And she would try. I'm like, no. And then my mom would come over and I'm like, no, don't be sitting on the porch waving at everybody because I'm not that neighbor. And what happens is once you start waving, people start cutting across your grass. I have a problem with people that walk across my grass. Roogle, you know I do. I have a problem with people walking. I don't care. You walk down the sidewalk and come back up. I pay to get my grass landscaped. And I cut grass. So if I cut the grass, I'm going to need you not to mess up my lines that I strategically placed in my yard because you want to drag your feet, okay? And the post people, stop it. Like, I have a problem with that. So I was pleased that she didn't know, the nosy lady didn't know anything about me. Go ahead, Roogle, what?
I was going to say, actually, before Karens were Karens, I remember my father was a postman when they called him that. Now they letter carriers. But
there we go.
I guess he cut across some lady's lawn and she reported though. Yeah.
She did no, don't cut across her. She ain't want to mess up her lines.
Well, she said he cut across his lawn. I don't think he did.
Okay.
But yeah, but I remember that. I remember that story being circulated. Yeah.
So how do you meet people? Now, that was pre-COVID. Now, after COVID and after Neighbors, we have been doing it. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna say this. The guy across the street moved in. It was a guy that moved in across the street probably like about 4 years ago. I did meet him. Let me tell you how I met him. He snowblowed my walkway.
Oh, okay.
And guess what? Hi, after that, all the time. And what's interesting, they end up having a baby over there. Like, there was no baby, and all of a sudden a baby came. That tell you how much I pay attention, right? The baby finally got out the door, was running across the street. Over to my place. And what it told me is, obviously that little baby looked out the window enough and felt like, I want to go over there.
Right.
Yeah, like we know them, and I would put things, that's how I met them. I would put thank yous like on their porch basket, stuff like that,
Okay.
So that's how we met. So if you snow blow my walkway, that's really nice. That's that's a good way to say hi. Right. I'm new to the neighborhood. I'm like, you all right with me? Because I didn't have to do it. All I had to do was put salt down. And that was really helpful because, I'm always in and out. And I think that particular neighbor knew that I was always in and out. Now, my neighbor on the right, I did speak to my neighbor on the right. I trust her. She learned me from the newspaper. Now, isn't that sad? That's kind of sad. I was out and she said, I saw you in the newspaper. And I said, hey, I think that's my neighbor. And I started, that's how we met. And I started talking to her. But when I would go out of town, I would definitely let her know. I did trust her to let her know. Then that way she kind of knew what was going on. Right. So
that's how I do the neighbor that stays above the garage behind in the building walking in. We got to know him. He's a really nice kid, really sweet kid. And whenever we go out of town, we let him know. You know, we take, of course, have the dogs where they send them to their little pet lodge for their little vacation. And we let him know we're going out. And same thing with him when he's going out of town. He'll let me know, especially if he's getting some packages or something. He'll let me know, and they'll usually sit the package on my porch, and then I just take it in the house, and then go out my little back door down the steps, right,
and give it to him,
put it in front of his door.
So what would you do, Roogle?
About my neighbors?
How do you introduce yourself to your neighbors?
You know, I just had a new experience, over the last few years or whatever, and usually it's just, hey, how you doing? Or they say, how you doing? And that kind of thing. Like I was talking to one of my neighbors the other day, and it's kind of funny because I was like, yeah, we did this already. Like we really met before, right? And he was, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe it was somebody else. But we had a conversation for a little bit because I was doing the front yard and doing my little landscape and stuff, and I'm down there pulling up the stuff on my knees and all that kind of stuff, and he's like, "Looking good over there, right?" And I was like, "Hey, yeah, trying to do this." So I got up and went over there. I stopped what I was doing.
You walked across the grass?
No, not my grass. I just walked across the street.
Oh, walking across the street. Oh, I thought you were.
I don't necessarily. I get what you're saying about the grass.
I'm joking. It was a joke. Go ahead.
No, because I got this little pathway that has been created, and I'm thinking about turning it to a flower bed so that people are less likely to walk on it.
Right.
Because it's like a little. It's in between some bushes and all that stuff. But I don't know. It's just.
So he was across the street.
He was across the street.
And so
but we were just talking about. The best thing is just you talk about things that are the hot topics for the street. Like look at this property over there. We should we should all make a community garden or something. I think that was actually one of the topics.
Okay.
So we were just talking.
Trying to getting to know your neighbor.
Yeah, we did get to know the neighbor across the street too. That was the party person. My husband was always over there in the garage with them getting it in. So, but yeah.
So the party, now you got the party person. So a party person moves into the neighborhood, or let's just keep it 100. You got somebody that you see that might be trafficking in your neighborhood, and you own your home. Look, I already knew I was gonna go to the left.
I've experienced this ATF and everything.
How do you deal with that?
You know what? It was so short lived that there was really nothing. Like it seemed like as things were starting to get a little bit you get somebody that's trying to do something bad. They're doing something illegal, but they're doing it low key. But because of what they're doing, it takes on a mind of its own. And it pretty much got stopped relatively quickly.
You think it was because of the neighbors?
Oh, yeah.
The Karens? The black Karens?
Maybe the Felicias or something.
Not Felicias.
Not the Karens. But the thing with that is we're not talking about, hey, you had a little bit of a loud party. We're talking about cars all times of night,
we ain't doing that.
Stuff that just doesn't seem right, and then the thing about it is because I remember when one of the things happened, I just had left, And then when I was leaving, you know, I see like the tactical units and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, oh man, it's about to go down, you know. And so that make you, you know, you never know how it's going to go. You know what I mean? But I mean, without, and that's the thing. This in the type of work that I'm in, like when I see a lot of different things happening just in neighborhoods and stuff. And yet there's been some people brought to justice without any casualties. Without any, you know what I mean? Like, you don't see any, like, you know, no one's gotten shot, no one's gotten killed. You know, I mean, granted, there's been knuckleheads that have been killing themselves over dumb stuff, but as far as like the police intervention that I've seen, it hasn't been, there hasn't been excessive force. So,
okay,
I know I'm off topic, but that's
that's good, because let me tell you, and I'm about to go off topic with you. Do you remember? It wasn't that long ago. The riots. You know how we had the riots. Remember they was doing. You know we did. Well, not really riots. I wouldn't say riots.
Which ones?
This. Okay. How about the march? The Black Lives Matter march that we had downtown. And we talking Youngstown. Downtown Youngstown.
All right.
Let me tell you one thing about Youngstown, Ohio. I love my people of Youngstown, Ohio, because when we had that Black Lives Matter, it's like, yeah, we did our peaceful protest, but we was loud, you know what I'm saying? And then remember they bust in some people to come down and they thought they was going to destroy some stuff downtown. And the yo was like, oh, hold on now, hold on, we ain't tearing up our stuff now. We ain't about to do all that. And then everybody kind of got together and looked like, who are y'all? Y'all don't even live here. Everybody knows everybody.
Somebody, they'll look and say, that ain't such and such cousin.
Right. Like, what? Y'all ain't about to tear up our stuff. And then
Jackson.
Right. You from what? They from the north. Who are these people? It was so funny because you have people that come in and unite, but it was like, let's go do this. No, we ain't no, we're not doing that. No, sorry. You ain't tearing up our stuff. And we don't have them type of problems in Youngstown. Because the police officers kind of know everybody too.
Don't know me. I'm either for the other people. Who is that? Oh, that's PA, or that's Siren from such and such.
People know people, and that's why it was so funny, because with that one clip in Coming to America, when they was talking about, you know, the different things, and then the guy said the babies with the flies, they're like, whoa, you done gone too far. It took me right back. It took me back to Youngstown, to the yo. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, we gonna protest. Yeah, it ain't right. Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. And then it'd be like, no, y'all ain't about to tear it. Yeah, hold up. We ain't about to tear it up. And like he said, you ain't no Jackson. No, no, you ain't about to do that.
Because that's how it be, man. You walk around here, people look at your face and know your whole origin.
Right.
I'm like, I know your great uncle. You know?
After they get to talking, who your parents? And then we looking like the people that's how we found out so fast. Did you realize how fast it was that those people was busted in? We was like, oh no, who are they? They got to the bottom of it quick, like, whoa, you trying to tear apart? We ain't got nothing. We just got this. You ain't about to tear that up. Like, Like, yeah, we down for the cause, but don't tear up our stuff.
Right, exactly.
And I'm sure that's how it is in Farrell. Like, where you at? Boom. No.
That reminds me, when you talk about riot, that reminds me of time. Now, Farrell and Cher people is close there because everybody related to everybody. They always fight, never got along. But when somebody from the outside come in, that's when Farrell and Cher always got together, because there was one time with the Cher Project. Some folks from Youngstown came over. It was a big old riot. It was Farrell and Cher against the folks from Youngstown. They turned cars over and everything in the project. I was standing back like, oh, shoot. That's back before people started pulling out guns and stuff, when they really fought instead of...
Well, we don't want nobody fighting, but we will definitely... We will
shoot and stuff like that, but they was turning cars over and everything. I was like, man, what's going on?
Listen, people will unite. People will unite. It'd be like, who knows who? People are going to unite.
Exactly.
Now, I want to... Go ahead, Roogle.
I was going to say, like Godzilla and King Kong. they was fighting. They was fighting each other. Then they started fighting Mecha Godzilla. They together.
That's the movie guy. We know him. Yeah. He'll definitely go there. Reference. So so if you have somebody in the neighborhood that you know is going to destroy the neighborhood, and I'm not even talking about property value at this moment, but like if you have a family unit in your neighborhood and then you have this going on, and it's like, no, I plan on raising my family here. I don't want this type of negative energy in my neighborhood. How do you rid it? And I'm asking that question because I do know for a fact, so hopefully people that are running for mayor listen to what I'm saying. They tell who called. That's why the elderly people ain't calling. Because they tell who, like if there's a complaint, they tell who made the complaint.
That is so stupid because you could potentially be causing somebody to lose their life and they're trying to save the neighborhood. Don't do that, y'all. Come on now.
That I'm telling you for a fact, and this is coming out of my mouth. Male. It has happened to me on 2 occasions. And the one occasion, it was a domestic fight going on, right? Thank God it was me. It was a domestic fight going on with my neighbor. I hear it. I'm calling the police. And you can hear it was like blood curdling, hollering, screaming. I'm calling. I call the police. They go over there. The guy answered the door. The police says, we got a call. This is what he said to him. He said, we got a call that you guys were fighting. The guy said, we're not fighting. The girl didn't see her at all, right? That police officer came to my house, directly from their house, walked across my grass. I was irritated. Walked across my grass, knocked on my door. I come to the door, and he said, they said they weren't fighting. So I'm looking the guy dead in the face, the guy I called on. Mm. Now that last name, I will not say that last name, but that last name, they known for dismissing people. Now, if I were not me and was Scary Mary, even if I was scared, I'm sitting there like, yeah, I called. I got to go hard. You know what I'm saying? Now I got to put my S on my chest. And I was like, and I told him, I said, and now you put me on the spot. I'm looking at this guy. I said, they weren't fighting. I said, I heard the screams. So then the police officer looks at him. He's like, we weren't fighting. I was like, whatever. I said, I'm trying to go to sleep though. So the police left and went back over, walked across my grass again and went back over there. When the police left, the guy says to me, he was like, Miss Mel. He was like, I told her to call. I said, well, let her call the police. I said, I won't have to call if you give her the phone. He said, I tell you what, this is what this young man said to me. He said, Miss Mel, I will give her the phone to call. And he was like, I'm sorry for disturbing you. Just like that, right? But my problem is, if you are in a domestic dispute or in a domestic situation, domestic violence situation, you beating her up. She's scared to call.
Right.
And I said, as long as you give her the phone and I can see she has the phone. That's what I said. So I go back in the house. But if I were not me and was someone else that was afraid, and then you have that bullying, or you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to say anything. But if the police is going to do something like that, why would I call if I'm afraid for my life? And I think that is the problem why elderly people don't call. The guy behind me, his garage fell down. And I thought I was being nice. You remember, Roogle? The bricks was all in my backyard. You know how I was feeling. Okay, your garage fell. Your bricks is all messing up my little flower bed back there. So I gave him some time. And then I said, okay, it's been some, I need to go. So after church, me and my child went. And then I saw the garage caved in. But it was a new Chrysler 300 in the garage. So my daughter that it came in on, so my daughter was like, Mommy, I thought you was gonna go up there. I said, well, they got bigger problems. I'll come another day. I'm talking about picking your bricks up out, messing up my, flower bed in the backyard. And you got a Chrysler 300 that it just destroyed. And it was the weather. That's what happened. So then I waited another year. So I waited 2 years. So finally I'm like, okay, I knock on the door to the house behind me. Wait. I waited. I was patient. So when the guy seen me, he looked familiar, but I didn't know him. You know what I mean? I didn't really know him. He looked familiar, but he knew just who I was. And he said to me, I was like, listen, I said, you got to get your bricks up. He was like, Nurse Ross. I was like, So when I hear Nurse Ross, I'm like, okay. And a nurse in corrections. Then he told me, he was like, I said, it's been 2 years. He was like, I was with you on S-Pod. And then it clicked. He was in jail. He was locked up. And I was like, yep. And in my mind, I know the medication. Now I know exactly who this is, when he said that. So I'm like, okay. And this is what he said to me. Now, this young man, I don't know what he was in jail for. He told me I was the only person that did not report him for a complaint. And I asked him, I said, well, how do you know? He told me that they tell him he had a list. He said, I'll be right back. He had a list of addresses of people that complained about him. How dangerous is that? And he went to jail for something, but if he was younger, ain't no telling how he would have responded. And he said, I've been here for 20 years. He said, they just moved in and they got these complaints. So you don't know who your neighbor is, but they told him, we got a complaint from this address. You are giving the address. So who do we speak to? Do we speak to council people? Like, that is unsafe. And that's why we can't keep our neighborhoods up. I think. Roogle, Nick, you stay right there because I know you want to go. Roogle, what's your thoughts on that?
I was about to go and research it and see because because I've had situations where I've called the cops. I mean, and not even in this area, but just in general.
Uh-huh.
And I don't recall them ever coming to me or whatever after the fact,
or giving your information. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. Or giving your information, like who filed this complaint, and it's there for the public to see.
I mean, like if you calling the police, like, hey, they're shooting. You know what I mean?
They ask you,
like, hey,
they ask you your address.
This
Go ahead.
One time, it was this domestic violence issue that was happening, and it was so bad. It was I think I talked about it on the show probably a few times, but it was so bad where. I was like, oh my, like the lady was like, hey, just, I can't believe you hit me. And as soon as she say something, bam, you just hear, you hear like the thump and then like a crash or something. And I called the police. I was like, man, I was like, y'all got to hurry up and get out of here. I think he's on the brink of killing her. So much to where I was like, I went to go knock on the door, and I thought about it. I'm outside the door, like, what the hell am I doing? You know what I mean?
What you gonna do, huh?
Like, I mean, like, I just want to be like, hey, like, could you like talk it out now? I mean, I think she's had enough. You know what I mean? But it was just so surreal when it was happening. And my son was young at the time, and he's sleeping. I'm like, man, let me hear. I gotta call because I don't know if he's going to shoot her or she's going to shoot him, or if there's you don't. It's a whole bunch of stuff you don't know, right? But when I was in an apartment, so when you in that close proximity like that, you're like, no, this guy get diffused quickly. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I didn't have a problem if they knew, because I mean that's, it could potentially endanger my household. So,
and see, that's it.
But as far as like, if your neighbor is complaining about your grass and all that kind of stuff or whatever, I mean, is there? I don't know. I mean, should they tell them who's doing it? I don't know. I mean, if anything, I don't know. I mean, just correct the issue. You know what I'm saying?
That's it. Just correct
it. Go there. So it's one thing, like, if I call the cops and I say, oh, they got loud music going on over there, and then, like, when the cop gets there, like, there's nothing going on, then that looks like a false report, right? But if I'm calling them saying, hey, this guy's garage is in my backyard, you know, I mean, there's the evidence of that, right?
Right. The house isn't being kept up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I think it is. It's weird. I didn't know that they told about regular complaints or whatever about things like grass and all that kind of stuff.
I was shocked before, to my understanding, because I call because I am who I am. Before they didn't disclose that information, but something went on that now they do. So anybody that's on the police force or who get the complaints, I want you guys to chime in. Tell us what's going on. Why is this? And if you want to know, as far as, why people aren't moving to certain areas, maybe that's why. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, well, it's going down and this community, it doesn't look good. It used to be an elderly community and look at the property. But people are afraid to tell.
It's the element that's moving in, and then the combination of them telling your business. You ain't supposed to tell nobody business. You're supposed to protect and serve at all times. How you protecting and serving anybody if you giving so-and-so an address so-and-so told on you? Listen, I need y'all, because I know some of y'all was listening. You're supposed to protect and serve. That's not protecting and serving. It's not. If you're telling the information of the person who is reporting something going on. You want people to report things that's not right in the neighborhood or report things that's going on. But if you're giving their information to that person, you are potentially causing harm to that person. And then you're going to have to turn around and come back out for a murder for that person that reported it.
Well, think about it like this, though. I mean, I know it's not a court of law, right? But we do have the right to face our accusers. I don't know.
That's in court with security.
That's in court, exactly.
I'm just saying. I mean, do it really. I mean, I don't know. Inside court, outside. I mean,
nah, inside court.
Oh, okay. Let's go to a viewer. I have to go to a viewer right now. Shout out to you, Annette. I've just used first names to protect the innocent.
Right.
She said that I called, so YPD, she said, she was like, I called when shots were fired behind my house. They came to her home, sirens and all. Her neighbors and everything came outside asking where are they shooting? So there's that prime example, Roogle. So you call about the shots and they gonna come to your crib talking about where they shooting at. Mm-hmm. They went that way. Like, what?
Reporting behind her house, that's where they should have went.
Maybe they thought she meant, maybe they thought, and I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Go ahead.
I gotta do it. But, like, did she say, hey, they're shooting behind my house? Or did she say, they're shooting on the next block? You see what I'm saying? There's a difference there. There's a difference there. If I say to you, man, somebody was shooting behind my house, right? One could perceive that's my backyard. They're shooting it.
But don't come to my house.
Hey, but if I say, hey, they're shooting on Market Street,
just walk around, case the neighborhood. Don't come directly to the house.
Well, I mean, there could have been something messed up in the translation there. You know.
Okay, so somebody had a lot of over 80 complaints about the dog barking at night. How do you?
Yes.
A dog barking at night. So do we do complaints on children, especially if they out at night? Go ahead.
I'm saying like, if you have it. I mean, people can have whatever pet they want. I mean,
right.
I don't know if they should have whatever pet they want. I don't want to go full Tiger King or whatever. Exotic. but the point I'm saying is like you got to have some level of control over that. You know, like I shouldn't be subject to your dog's like just reactions at any time because just because I shouldn't have to. I mean, you might find a person who owns that dog might find that pleasurable. I don't know. I don't own the animal, but but the rest of us may not. You know what I mean? So it's such a difference because I see people where they have like trained. I mean, I think the dogs will still take you out if they need to, but they're very disciplined. You know what I mean? They're not reaction. They're not reactionary. They just but it's sometimes I'm like, what in the heck? Like, why?
Especially if you're trying to sleep.
Okay, dog owner.
Go ahead, dog owner. Go ahead.
Let me play devil's advocate. What if that dog is reacting to something going on in the neighborhood and they could be saving your life?
And
every night?
Right, because guess what?
Dogs aren't barking. Some dogs don't bark for no reason, especially if they're outside. They're going to bark if somebody strange is around, walking around. So therefore, that dog could potentially, especially if there's not something, the wrong element coming in the neighborhood, that dog could potentially be saving neighbors' lives.
Okay, go ahead, Roogle. What's your thoughts?
That could be true. But I tell you this, they also help and support all the emergency services. Because whenever you hear a siren, all you hear is the extra howling. So they let you know how close they are. You hear the police, you hear the ambulance, you hear the fire truck, you hear them dogs. Come on, man.
Now, I will say this, Nyk. You have a point because I didn't have a dog. But my neighbor, she had two. And her yard was really small and mine was larger. I was okay and I told her, now don't let your dogs poop on my lawn in my yard because I'm not trying to track that in my house. I don't have a dog. But I would tell her, let them run around through my backyard, through my front. Let them run to exercise because I understand that. I was like, oh, they'll protect my house. Because they would feel like, okay, that's theirs. So if anybody was coming through, right, you got it. So I can see that. But I'm with Roogle. All night long, though, like if you're trying to rest. Y'all remember, Roogle, you probably don't, Nyk, because I know Roogle was here during that time. Do you remember the firecrackers? That they had the little tiny firecrackers. And I get the 4th of July, but it was 12 midnight. And they had a long line of firecrackers, the phony ones, the pop, 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 pop. No lie, it was going for 30 minutes straight. I took a water pitcher, out there to the street. It was after midnight. And I doused the firecrackers. Like, it was a mile long.
It can be thousands of firecrackers. Those can be. You got to roll like 1,000 of them. Multiple.
It was after midnight. Listen, that thing. It was going. It wasn't your big boom boom. They did all of that, but it was after midnight, and no lie, it was about 30. I looked at the clock, and I'm like, okay, it got to be over. But they had a whole all the way to the end of the street.
Oh yeah,
and it was pop, 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 and I knew it was younger, children. I went out there and just, I didn't even care. I was like, this is ridiculous. And then I went back into the house and I went to sleep. I am that neighbor. I'm not a Karen. I'm a male. Don't do it. Leave me alone. Now, here's my other question. When you live in certain neighborhoods and they have, the homeowners association. How do you feel about the homeowner association when you buy your property, you're paying taxes on your property, and they tell you what color you can paint your home? Come on, Roogle.
I bought this house.
Wait.
But it's like the buying the property entail being a member.
It does.
Being a member.
It does. 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 It does.
Like, is this like a gated community?
It's a invisible gated community.
Invisible,
but it's a community, and they don't have a gate, but it's a community, and
it's some kind of development.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and every house looks the same. If you mess up, you can go knock on the wrong person's house, and then the cops get called, and then you die.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Come on. We've all been to there. All been to places like, and that actually happened to me. Like, I actually walked. It was actually apartments.
You went to the wrong house.
Listen, it was at nighttime. I left out the place, out the house I was in, to go get a charger out of my car. Turned around and did not know which house I came out of. Right now, the thing was, I went to go get a charger out my car. So my phone was dead.
Was you drinking?
No. No, actually, I just woke up in the middle. of the night to go get my charger because I noticed my phone was dead. I couldn't catch up on my words with friends.
You got.
And I was like, and I know I rang a wrong doorbell for sure, because it wasn't the house.
Have you ever gone into the wrong house?
No, because like I said, I didn't even try the doorknob. I just rang the doorbell because I was unsure. So I said, well, if I ring the doorbell and and they come, great. If I ring it and it's not them, then I got to go ring the next one.
What time was it?
12:30.
It was 12:30 a.m.
Yeah.
Oh, heck nah.
Yeah. And the only reason I went to get my phone was because I was out of town. And I got there, I was helping a friend move. And so, you be like zonked out for a minute. And you wake up like, oh, man, let me see if anybody called me or anything. And then I was like, oh, my phone's dead. Let me go get my charger. Because everybody else had Androids and I had an iPhone. So.
Oh, so you couldn't use the charger.
Yeah.
Nick, has that ever happened to you? Have you gone into the wrong house before?
Mm-mm.
Look, Nick, like,
I make sure I get the address. I know the address of where I'm going. I'm not trying to get my head blown off or walk, because you never know with some people. They quick to pull a gun on a stranger. You ain't pulling no gun on me. I'm going to go to the right house every time.
Well, he said he was asleep and then he went to his car. So I can see something like that occurring.
And when I say this, it was like an apartment complex, but they all looked like it wasn't. They had the feel of condominiums, but they were all connected. You know what I mean? Okay. And so when I walked out, I'm on the backside, so there's no identification. Either you get it wrong, and I just got it wrong because I didn't think about it. Because during the day, I was just moving stuff, you know what I mean? Whatever. Right. The doors open, I could see the people going back and forth. I'm going back and forth. But at nighttime, I was like, I got out. I was like, where am I at? Because I didn't leave the door open or anything. I was like, not to mention I was parked kind of far away. So
man, you had to walk past.
So that was the thing. It wasn't like I just got out and was like, oh, no, I was parked like, I don't know, probably like 50 yards away, if that, maybe less than 50 yards, maybe 25, 30 yards, but yeah.
Okay. How do you feel about trash cans, your neighbors reporting you because your trash can is still on the street and trash night is Friday morning? And here it is Thursday and your trash can is still on the street.
You mean you went a whole week?
A whole week.
I would say if I didn't see any activity, I would probably knock on the door and see if they're alive, probably.
Now, that's a good neighbor.
You know what I mean? Because that's a long time. Because you're saying for a whole week, nobody had any trash they had to throw outside?
Okay. So one of my friends, she leaves her trash can on the street. She leaves it out there. Like, okay. And here's what's interesting. So you take your trash out the house and just put it to the street. Like put it in the trash can that's on the street instead of pulling it back to your home.
Yeah.
That to me makes the neighborhood looks bad. But me being me, going to visit, and I said, I'm not coming back until your trash can is off the street. How do you feel about neighbors' complaints about that? And she owns her own home, but it doesn't make the neighborhood look beautiful to me.
Yeah, I've seen the cops actually tell people, like I witnessed them say, hey, you know, trash day was like 4 days ago. You know.
Do you think they have the right to tell you though? And you're a homeowner?
I believe so because I think I don't know if you actually own that devil strip. You know what I mean?
You don't own that sidewalk.
Yeah.
Like that.
So I think they do.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think they do. I mean, like for example, if I let the devil strip this grow crazy, could they fine me for that? I don't know. I think I would try to fight that. Be like, well, it's not my responsibility.
You know what? No, start in trouble. He's starting trouble. Now, if you don't cut that curb grass,
they will find you.
How can they find you and that's not your property? Like he said,
they'll find you.
You can't.
Yeah,
it's not yours.
They'll find you. They will find you because that's in front of your house. So you're responsible for it. But like you said, if you leave your trash can there, they want to tell you you can't leave your trash can there. But if you don't cut that strip of grass, listen, the city inspector or whoever is in charge of all that, they'll come and they'll find
you.
I hear
what you're saying, but I would challenge that. Did you hear about the lady just recently? She got like $1.2 million in her account, and she sent them.
Yes. Now for those, yes. Okay, let's catch a lovely listening audience and the viewers up. If you didn't know, they accidentally put it was 1.2 million, right?
Yeah, a little bit extra
in her account. And then they put her in jail saying she stole it. That's not stolen. That was a blessing.
Yeah, well, she wouldn't buy a house though.
I would too. That's a blessing. You gifted me with this.
Spent that money, right?
I would have spent it real quick too. Listen.
So that's one thing I ain't gonna do.
But is she wrong? But is she wrong? She didn't steal that.
She was wrong because she knew it didn't belong to her.
Listen here. If you drop something in my lap, that's a blessing.
It ain't like she found it on the street.
Right. And the camera caught her.
No, but she know it didn't belong to her.
They have gifted her. Listen.
Look, it's their responsibility to right their wrong and do it. So they were supposed to take that out of her account. You, girlfriend, you weren't supposed to spend that. You knew better than that.
Really? So now, go ahead. Laws are for the unlawful. Go ahead, Roogle.
So you 5 to 7 business days to see if it was still there before you spent it.
I ain't. Go ahead, Roogle.
So how I understood it was that like this was what some legal experts were saying, that somebody was saying, like y'all say, well, if she had it and she knew it wasn't hers, then she shouldn't have did nothing with it, right? But on the contrary, what she was being charged with was like felony, not felony, what is it? Grand theft or something like that, and then some kind of wiring fraud, right? And they said, well, how could she be held accountable for any of that stuff when it was her mistake? I mean, it wasn't her mistake. It was the bank.
Right. It wasn't.
She shouldn't have went to jail.
Okay, hold on. Finish, Roogle. I want to hear.
So it's this one guy who feels like, he says, I think she got a case to keep the money.
I agree with him. I agree.
Or in my thoughts, I would think if the bank messed up that badly, I mean, if
they need to be fired. We're their insurance.
Well, but what if they set up a deal where there was like, okay, well, you owe us this money, but you had this house. Just pay us the money back for the house. Finance the house through us for what you use the money for.
I could, or let's make payments. $20 a month. I'll make payments. $20 a month.
Yeah, but it was a security thing because I want to see how it ends up, because it's been like day 3 since they reported.
Listen, this is me. If it happened to me, just Roxy, you don't have to turn on the red light. be in jail. 48 hours. I'm gonna be there because guess what? That was a gift. So are you telling me everything that I'm gifted with, I'm not supposed to, if I give you $100 for your birthday, you stole it? No.
Yeah, but you had the thing was that you had the intentions to give it to me. But what they were saying though too is how was she going to explain to the IRS where that money came from?
Listen, that ain't my concern. I pay y'all back $20 a month.
Put it in my account.
Shit.
I was gifted.
I don't know. You know what?
I thought it was owed to me. Back child support.
You know, hey, it might have been tempting to spend that money because I mean I'd be like, oh, student loans, here you go.
Right. Explain that. Yeah, explain that. That's what you
money back from the government.
I ain't trying to go to jail for nobody. So yeah.
You know, like.
See, Nick honest was like, this isn't mine. So Nick, if you found, okay, you in the bathroom and you found a wallet or a deposit little bag, and in there it looked to be over $5,000. Do you?
Thank you, Jesus.
Listen, do you turn that in?
No, I won't turn that in.
Okay, do you turn it in, Roogle?
Turn it into who?
To the establishment, the public bathroom that you're at.
To the public bathroom.
I just made a comment. The Lord has blessed.
I got to make sure the money is safe, so therefore I will have to do my own investigation and hold on to the money until I actually found the real person. Because ain't no chance you give it to the person behind the counter. They gonna probably be like,
they not gonna take it. But
yeah.
if
but you know what?
Put in my account that I know don't belong to me, then I'm gonna be worried and I'm gonna be like, because the bank security and all that. Yeah, that I ain't gonna mess with. I'm gonna wait for 5 to 7 business days to see the thing, so they can see that they made their mistake and do whatever.
This what I'm doing. This what I'm doing. Y'all gonna be in on it. 1.2 million in my account. I'm like, Roogle, boom. I got something for you. I need you to hide that. Boom. I need you to put this up. Nick, I need you to put this up. Nick gonna be like,
7 business days. I need 5 to 7 business days before I take that money off your hand.
Right, 5 to 7 business days. Now, if they don't right it wrong and correct that mistake after the 7th day, then I'm gonna do what old girl did. I got some money.
I have been blessed. I will pay. Look, I will take it. And if the IRS is asking me, guess what? I'm going to do just what Roogle said. Oh, I paid my student loans with that. I thought I was blessed here. I'm debt free.
Now y'all argue it out.
Yeah, y'all figure it out amongst each other.
That's between y'all and the bank that made the mistake that I left it there a week now. The 5 step business day, they did not they didn't correct that mistake. So it must have meant it was for me. But I'm gonna wait. If I put a money bag in the bathroom, then all bets is off for that one.
But the issue for me would be I would be like, well, what about, how do I know y'all even giving me that y'all took, what if the money in my account is not right? You just can't assume that I didn't have $1.2 million.
Right. So you telling me you checking my account every day? But you know what? It probably...
You can't assume I didn't have that money.
It probably would open up a can of worms because people in the bank probably would hook up their family. And then they'd be like, okay, well, we'll turn it over into insurance.
Oh, it was a lady. It was so funny. They said she worked at that bank since she was like 7 or 18 years old. And she's still like about like $1 or $2 million over that time period that she was there. And everybody's like, oh, she was just so trusting and so kind and so nice. Because she was like, she was there since she was a kid. And she stole all that money.
How about that one?
Know that they're going to eventually get caught? Because there's a couple people that eventually got caught. And one was the ex-mayor's wife.
Shots fired? Go ahead.
But the thing was, think about it. You 18 years old, that's your first job. And you like 40. You didn't get away for like a decade, like 3 decades. I think she should have stopped. She should have figured out when enough was enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, at some point. Well, Roogle, what about the one that we know? Oh
yeah.
Right. So, you know,
and that was even millions.
Right.
That was even hundreds of thousands.
Right.
Is that the one you was talking about, $1 here or there for
Yep.
account?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you made me start watching my account after
I'm telling you, that little dollar, but you know what? Since I brought it up, let me tell the lovely people who are on disability, get Social Security checks. Let's bring it back up again. Check your dollar amount. $1, you're looking like, let's say if you, I don't know what their checks usually are, but instead they get like 500, I'm just a number, 515. 515.86 they get. And then all of a sudden you're getting 514 or just 515 and not the 86 cents. But for every person that's on disability that's coming into that bank, that money adds up. So for my elderly people, because those are the ones that usually get hit because they're not paying attention and everything is electronic, check it. If it's $1 less, whatever it is, check it. Even the people that work for the Social Security office, they're known to do it too, because you got to understand, these are people. People be peopling. And everybody isn't trustworthy. As far as like what I said for the money bag that you find in the bathroom, yes, I would do my research. So I would probably be like Roogle. Now, 1.2 mil from the bank, your fault. If somebody actually dropped money or something like that. The one time I remember Ponderosa, it was a bank envelope, home savings and loans, so y'all probably know. Remember them? And it was dropped. In that envelope, I think it was probably like $400 and something, but it was outside on the sidewalk at Ponderosa. And I'm leaving out and I see it. I pick it up. Boom, I look through it. And then probably about 20 minutes later, I seen a lady looking, checking. About 20 minutes later. Now, I sat there in the parking lot, though. And I did not turn it in to the establishment, Roogle. Just like you, or Nyk, I didn't turn it in. I watched and waited. And then when I seen her and I said, what are you looking for? And then she told me. And I gave it to her. She was like, somehow I must have dropped my money because she was in. So I guess she probably was looking, to pay. And she had younger children with her. And we know little people will distract us. And I gave it to her. And I believed.
So this was a purse?
No, this one was actually an envelope. The home savings envelope. And it had money in it. And I was leaving out. And you know how like with Ponderosa, you leave out a different door. And then they go into the other. Remember how that used to be? Mm-hmm. And I didn't know who it was because I didn't see her drop it. But I seen on the way out that envelope and I grabbed it and I was in the parking lot and I waited. And then I seen the lady come out and she kept looking and she went out to the parking lot, came back in and I asked her what was she looking for, and then she told me and I gave it to her.
Mm. And somebody might have pulled a Lion King and be like, that's the circle of life.
Right, and I was young.
It'd be like, okay, well, that's the circle of life. That's that rotation.
But I do know, as far as the bank mistake, I do know they can hold you accountable.
Hold me accountable. I'll pay $20 a month.
No, I mean, seriously though, with the bank, their rules, if they put money into the wrong account, they have to get it back. And if you spend it knowing that it didn't belong to you, they can press charges.
Now, okay, and that's okay. But here's my thing. What about the bill people that'll withdraw out of your account and it's an error, and then the bank tells us, so we got to wait? Come on now.
But Nikki, what if I got overdraft protection?
For 1.2 mil. He got overdraft protected for 1.2 mil.
You know what I'm saying? Protected for that.
That's hilarious. Negative 1.2 mil.
If you in a negative for that much money,
get a new bank, Roogle. Go to a new bank. If they're going to close your account, just go to a new bank. Before they get to
account, listen, you ain't going to have no good credit till the day you die.
It don't even matter. It don't even matter. You be to have your house paid. Right. Y'all can go ahead, garnish my checks.
I need a new car. I'm sorry, ma'am. Your credit. Don't worry about it.
Right. Garnish my checks. I'm living in the house I want.
I don't have no payments, no nothing. New furniture. Here you go. Boom. Yeah.
Now back to that devil strip, like outside, out in front of your house. So you can be fined. You're saying that you can be fined for it if you don't cut it.
Mm-hmm.
But they say that property belongs to the city. So let's talk about what happened in South Columbia, South Carolina, with the young man who was walking, and the guy goes and harasses him and talking about something. What is he doing? Did y'all hear about that?
The active military.
You can say active. You can say active all you want. The man, he wasn't in uniform at that time.
But let's put it out there.
Active military. Go ahead.
He's getting charges. He's getting demoted. They're getting ready to do him in because that's not what he was supposed to do. That was not his job.
But here's the thing, and he was on city. He was on city property. He was because he was on the sidewalk. But go ahead, Roogle. I want to hear what you have to say about that.
Instead of being a Karen, he was being a Ken.
Okay, hold on.
His Karen was in the background yelling some stuff like, "We're gonna call the cops. We'll see how good that goes for you."
And weren't they profiling?
And then the neighbor, a black neighbor, was actually
recording it. Yeah.
So it's like you got black people in your neighborhood. You see a guy walking there. How you gonna tell him? Even if he didn't have a black neighbor, how you gonna tell this guy who's walking, minding his business, that he should be in his neighborhood? You know what I mean? Then the issue was he put his hands on him.
That was the issue.
You know what I'm saying?
That was the issue. So if he would have responded,
the bigger issue is the police put them in witness protection for what?
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. I got to check on it.
A bunch of black people went in front of the house. So the police put them in witness protection. They was wrong in the wrong. You should have arrested them, not put them in witness protection. But that's all right because the military is taking care of them. He's getting demoted and everything else because they don't play that. That made it look bad.
Karen, his wife is dirty because she didn't diffuse it. She kind of was gassing him up. And to make him like, you know what I mean? So, and here's... Go ahead,
you don't know that household, though. She might have been like, if he ain't taking it... As long as he's not taking it out on me, who knows what he's doing up in there.
Or, you have people that'll gas you up. They give you that courage. And then you looking crazy. Mm-hmm. And then he was out there barefoot. So I said, was that strategic? Yeah. I said, to act like, so you want to, it's open season. So you can be like, okay, well, I shot him. I felt threatened. I didn't even have my shoes on. So it sounded like it looked to be like like, why you out there with no shoes on? Like,
when he put his hands on that boy should have stopped.
Wait, before him putting his hands on him going outside all the way with no shoes on. And usually if you look at somebody and you be like, oh, they didn't have time to put their shoes on. And you know what I mean? It was a spur of the moment type thing. That's why I look like, is this like a setup? You just want to just bother somebody? Where are we at? Now him putting his hands on him, if the young man would have retaliated, then it would have been a whole different story.
It would have been a different story.
Right.
He was standing his ground. He has a right to protect his home and all that.
Absolutely. It would have been a whole different story. And it's not okay. It's like open season. I ain't lying. Hunting season. Especially,
it really is.
Now, how about Ohio? We know now Ohio is a stay in your ground state now. But the problem that I have with it is that you have what do you say, in public? Usually it's like in your home. Now in public, so you could just stand your ground in public anywhere? Like, okay, you done got on my nerves, pow, it's over. What are we doing? Roogle? What do you think? Are you looking at the bigger picture here? Is this open season?
Well, even with the whole thing now, they're talking about having... I don't think this is Ohio, but is it Ohio? I don't think so. I think it's... But anyway, I can't remember where it's at, but they were talking about the teachers actually having guns, and yeah, I think it is Ohio. and they want they pretty much want school boards to address how much training a teacher would need in order to have a gun in the classroom. And I was just like, that I mean, I heard on NPR, and I think it was the Ohio segment they were talking about. But I was like, there's not enough training when you have a police officer of 26 years that shoots a guy thinking she had her taser in her hand. Which my thing is that if you're shooting somebody, the gun is in front of you, the taser is in front of you. How do you not know the difference between a yellow taser and a black gun?
You do know, and she's the one that did the teaching for tasers. She did the in-service. Get out of here. They say one is lighter. There's no excuse. It's open season. There's no excuse.
So how would
she
you
needs to be charged? She hurried up and resigned because she already knew what was up. She needs to be charged. They better charge her, because I don't care what you say. A taser and a gun do not feel the same at all.
One is bright yellow. You can see.
Right. And one is heavier than the other one.
Go ahead, Roogle. Ruggle's. I see his wheels turning.
I mean, when we talk about this teacher in classrooms having guns, and then the stand your ground thing, and then who issues the gun? Is it the district that issues the gun, or is the teacher's own personal gun? Like, and then when do they feel like they need to stand their ground against a student that may be threatening them, or a parent that they feel they're threatened by, or something like that, versus an intruder who's there to actually kill people? Like, to me, it's too much gray to even consider that as a viable option. And it's ridiculous.
Teachers
hire more
security.
Yeah,
train security.
Yeah, but we call them. There's a name for it.
Oh, is it? Well, this is what I can't think of the name. This is what I say. Do I believe the teachers should be having guns in the school? Absolutely not. And we talked about how, remember the what was it in Georgia, where we had the students, they were training the students at the daycare. You had the little white kids that had their meals, and then the black ones were waiting. So this, again, open season. It's like, oh, okay, well, we could get rid of somebody really fast. There's a teacher that I know, I want to say almost 30 years in teaching. A student made her so upset, because we see some teachers that don't listen. I don't understand. But the student made the teacher so upset that the student said F you, and the teacher responded and said F you. 30 years over that fast, that you are that angry that this child allowed you to knock you off your square. So if you have a gun, let's be real. You have people who have like road rage. Be like, don't give them no gun, because I will mess around and shoot somebody. You don't know. And even like before, like you were saying, before the guns, people used to fight with their fist. You're that angry, you want to hit somebody, you want to throw something. How fast we are pulling guns out and shooting people and killing them, and then you want to think twice and say, oh, okay, oh, my fault. And then they have, if you kill somebody, you get 7 years. But if you shoot them and they don't die, you're looking at 15 to life. So it's almost like, okay, let's get them to the gun range and make sure you kill them. The system is all jacked up. But no, I do not believe that teachers should be having guns in the classroom, because I know that these little people will take you there and test your patience. I'm like,
I know how it was when we were in school, and the kids nowadays are even worse.
So what would your solution be? Why would that even be an option? Like you said, Roogle, why would that shouldn't even be an option.
Yeah. It's not a viable one. It just causes more. They call them school. What do they call them? School officers or something like that. But anyway, like it's sheriff's deputies and other maybe city police officers. They go through some extensive training about how about interacting in schools and that sort of thing. If that's the case, then they should just mandate that school districts beef up that security. Not have it. Because not have it be The situation is prevent the person from getting into the building.
So get a gun to the secretaries. They first. They first. That's who you see first. Get it. Have the secretaries hold.
Yeah,
but like
it just seems to me like, you know, if there is to be a change where there needs to be more enforcement, then add more security. Then
what was that? Remember the one guy he ran? It was an older guy. He retired and then he ran or whatever.
Yeah,
so maybe that's probably why. And usually, listen, go ahead.
You know what? I don't know what they do down in Florida because that was in Florida.
There you go. Thanks. Go ahead.
You know what I mean? I mean, but like I was saying here, like our officers, they're like deputy sheriffs and police, and you know, and city police officers and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, hopefully that, you know, we're not talking about getting people that are like, oh, okay, I got this job, let me do this security work. No, but like someone who really should.
Oh, like me, like my put security on with like my outfit. Yeah. I'm gonna work at the school today, and then I'm like, a school shooting, I'm out.
Like for example, when we did Shades of Blue, you know, that show, there was officers there who did work in the school district and then that sort of thing, understood the students, knew the families, you know, knew the environment of the district. You know, that's community in policing is what I'm saying needs to happen in those environments where people can distinguish what's really going on and have the training and just the compassion to do the right thing, you know, so if anything, expand those programs, but I wouldn't give teachers have enough issues to worry about in the classroom. Shooting guns shouldn't be one of those issues, and having that kind of temptation in the classroom. And you know, what if a teacher doesn't lock up the gun properly and the student gets it? You know, what
right?
Overpower that teacher and they grab it, and you know what I mean,
and shoot her.
A whole bunch of things,
or him.
What if a teacher accidentally shoots a student because something terrible has happened? You know, it's so many things that they should have to worry about. But it's interesting because I didn't get any information on how teachers' unions feel about it. But I'm sorry, they did. The American Federation of Teachers, they said, no.
They said,
They got interviewed. They were like,
All right, let's pay some bills real quick. Stop the Violence, Youngstown, Ohio ceasefire event rally is today, April 17th, 2021, 1 to 4 p.m. at the Boys and Girls Club of Youngstown, 2105 Oak Hill Avenue, hosted by Youngstown United as One. Guest speakers are Mayor Jamel Tito Brown, Chief of Police Carl Davis, Reverend Dr. Lewis Macklin, and MCing is, of course, your girl Mel right here. Special guests will be those who have lost loved ones to gun violence. Now, this is the part to get me. Refreshments will be served. So, look, you can always get your girl there with some refreshments, okay? Mask and social distancing will be... Outside? This is inside. Mask and social distancing will be in effect. It'll be in the gym of the Boys and Girls Club. Come on out, show your support. We're trying to find solutions. There will be a question and answer segment. And your girl, I'm saying it, so you know I'm going to ask you, what's your thoughts? What's your views? Your voice needs to be heard on getting solutions. The people want to protect their community. Leadership needs to hear what the people are thinking. And I'm with you, Roogle. You know, you have your guest speakers and they're talking and it's like, okay, your guest speakers, but the special guests are those who have lost loved ones to gun violence. So come on out, sign your name, share your story. And when I say share your story, it's how has it impacted you? I am one that always focus on the individual who lost someone after the funeral. Because before the funeral, everybody's there, they hugging on them, and it's like, okay, here you go. But after the funeral, how has it impacted their life? Maybe people need to know. Maybe that will be, the turning point to say, okay, you are affecting the loved ones. If you are upset with that individual, Well, all their problems are over. You just helped them. You got rid of them. But their families, the rebuttal, the backlash, the leftovers, the remainder, these are the people that it's affecting. And you need to know do you really want to do that? We are humans. And I believe everybody has, some good in them. And no, you don't want to hurt other people. I don't care how you were brought up. Everyone has some good in them. We just have to develop it and show them and don't shun them and let them know, guess what? You do have a purpose. What is your purpose? And if you have done some wrong, trust and believe God will forgive you. You have been forgiven. Ask for forgiveness. And some people, like even my aunt, kudos to her. And I've always said it. My aunt, a guy killed my cousin, and my aunt forgave the guy that killed my cousin. And she told him, she said, my son is gone, but I need for you to turn your life around and do something good so my child would not have died in vain. So, something that might be minor and you're upset today, like the teacher with a gun, that's crazy. And like the example that I gave you where the teacher said F you to the student, 30 years gone down the drain. And just think about that. She got so upset that she said F you, 30 years gone down the drain. If she had a gun, how would she have retaliated? Like 30 years, my whole career's over. I might as well take everybody out with me. You know what I'm saying? You got to see where people are. And honestly, we know with drugs, those are people who have issues coping. Same with guns. Most of those people, you want to shoot somebody because you don't know how to use your coping skills. They have not been developed. Is it that somebody didn't take the time, or did you not want to even learn? So I want you guys to come on out, give your input. Let's get some solutions. Your voice is important, and we want to hear your voice. We want to hear your story. Nobody's shutting you up. You do matter. All right, I'm done. I'm off my soapbox. But no to the guns for the teachers. That's crazy.
Exactly.
Remember that one? Didn't somebody bring a gun, or it fell out the case or something like that? Didn't something like that happen, Roogle?
Yeah, there was an incident where a substitute teacher had somehow, when they were getting out of their car or something like that, a gun case fell out the car, and there was a parent, I guess, who saw it and knew what it was, and they were there, to get it turned in or whatever. Mm-hmm. But the issue is like, we don't. I mean, if there's a gun, there's probably bullets. If there's, mm-hmm. So, it was something where, like, luckily there was someone who knew how to act and they acted. But
so that was a fluke.
Yeah, but the other thing is, you ain't supposed to have that stuff on school property anyway.
Okay, right.
Like you're not the authorized person that should be having that gun. Having a gun on school property.
Now, if I feel like, even as a substitute teacher, but if I feel like I have to take a gun to work and I don't work in law enforcement, I'm not going there. And that's just me. If I have to, if I feel as though that I have, not even just school, but if I feel as though that I need to take a gun somewhere to like a school or wherever it is, if I feel like I have to take a gun, even though we know how the world is right now, I'm not going there. That means I don't feel safe. That means I don't feel safe.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, in this case, the gun wasn't, it wasn't.
He probably just had it.
Had it in the classroom. He
probably just had it in his car.
But the thing is, it's not supposed to be on school property, and furthermore, it wasn't secured properly. You get it in it's on the ground. How do you get out? You knock it on the ground. You go about your business. You don't even realize it. You know what I mean? Most people are more like for example, if you drop your cell phone. You know what I mean? Like, I know it's times where I'm like, my cell phone in my pocket. And I'm like checking under my seats and stuff like that before I even get out the car. or getting out the car so I can get down under that seat to get,
to get your cell phone.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I'm just saying, like, you think something like that a person would have been more responsive. I mean, I don't know. It was just a big mess, but luckily it got handled in the best way possible.
And it was that was a good thing. But maybe he probably had it in his trunk, and his trunk is junky.
Well, it wasn't in the trunk. I mean, they said it was by like a car door or something. Like it was
in a glove box or something.
Like let's say if you had your cell phone on your lap and you got out the car and didn't realize it.
So the guy he like Ice Cube. Pistol grip pumped on his lap at all times.
Or it could have been in the pocket of the door. That's probably, Yeah,
it could have been, yeah.
You open it, went to slam the door shut, close the door, and it fell out. Probably, So, but yeah, you supposed to make sure that's secure.
Oh, I thought he was out there. I thought the substitute teacher was out there like Ice Cube. Had it pumped on his lap at all times and dropped it.
Right.
From my understanding, it was inside of a case. It wasn't just a.
It probably was on his seat, and people do have junky cars. But we do have to be more cognizant, and when you are, you need to be mature. If you're going to carry a weapon, you need to be responsible. You need to have. I just feel the same way. Like we were talking, I think you need to have some people. Do they have insurance on guns? They're registered, but do they have insurance like a vehicle? Like you know what I mean?
You know what? That would be an interesting concept if you had to have a policy. You know what I mean? So I mean, if you did some harm with that gun, people go after your policy. I think nobody would no one would insure that.
Right. I don't know. Your insurance might go up. Look, they probably gonna be pissed off at me talking about some mail. Now you find another way for them to make some money.
It'd be part of your budget. Home, auto, and guns.
And guns.
And boats. And motorcycles.
Because I'm going to call. Look, and home. Remember that one chick I was telling y'all about that came up my house and want to fall down and talk about something with your insurance. And don't worry about my insurance. I ain't tell you to come over.
Came over your house and wanted to fall down.
And wanted to fall down. And didn't want to ask me, who's your home insurance for? Girl, bye. I ain't even invite you. You ain't even my guest. Get out of here.
Jeez.
I'm like, get out of here. Ain't doing it. Ain't doing it at all. So, moving on to the next topic. We talked about last week, the one young guy who was a lieutenant in the military. Remember we talked about that? And it happened in December. The police, we didn't get to, because it was at the end of the show. The police said if he did not complain, they wouldn't add extra charges. Remember I was talking about that? What should happen to them? Like, is that a bribery?
They got fired, didn't they?
They got fired.
But did they get fired? They got fired now because they released the body cam. But this happened in December. Why would you? But wait, Nick. But wait. Why would you? Now you release the camera. It's April. So had you not released that body cam and people didn't say anything, those people were still working from December to January to February to March.
Well, were they? I mean, were they working, or were they with suspension with pay?
To my understanding,
was investigated or what?
To my understanding, they were working.
Okay.
They were working, and I just feel like that's not okay. And I don't think. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, sounds like the investigation wasn't over. And maybe part of the investigation or the lawsuit was getting that body cam footage or footage, however it was, where they got it from.
But and even so, like with the one incident, if it's almost like if the people don't see it, we gonna be quiet. It didn't happen. If they don't say anything, then we'll just let it go. Like, come on, like that. And I think the lady who said she mistaken the gun for the gun for the taser, I think she got off easy. You just, okay, I quit. Like my career, I'll just have another career. Like, get out of here. I don't think that's okay. Do time.
Her quitting doesn't mean she's escaping. You know what I mean?
Okay.
There might be some sort of, maybe that's some kind of, maybe there's some maneuver in there, because I was wondering how she's the president of the union too, the police union. So my question was, well, if she resigns, does the union help defend her while she goes through this trial? Because there's going to be a trial.
Yeah.
There should
she
be a
blatantly
because
killed
even
him.
that police chief resigned. I believe he resigned too because he said, "Oh, it seemed like it was an accident, this and that." But I thought he resigned.
An accident?
It wasn't no accident. She did it on purpose.
Y'all didn't see the video where he was doing the press conference? He said,
I didn't, because I'll be out here working, trying to invest in myself, get money to reinvest. So I didn't catch that. But you caught it, and you said that he said it was an accident. See what I'm saying? Listen, like I said before, and this is coming from me, and the views from Mel is not the views of the co-host on Shop Talk with Mel. Like I said with George Floyd, the same thing. The KKK had a meeting, and it was open season. I said it a long time ago. Do you remember that? And then I said, and I believe he had his knee on his neck, and he looked at the camera. Take this picture so we could put it on the wall. You did a good job. Same thing with her. I was like, oh, no. Y'all had a meeting, and this is what y'all doing, so you gonna come. The situation was under control, and then she's gonna come up. I got one. I can shoot him and kill him. They changed the hood for the badges. We got to make sure that we elect the right people. And just like Nick, I want to say it was a few shows prior when we were talking about, you were saying, why do they hire people like that? And when you know who you know, nepotism is real. And it's like, okay, I'll get you in. Do I believe in some cases, you do have police officers that are mentally challenged. You have those that are stressed. And I do believe they need to have in services. We got to go get our driver's license, again. It's like, oh, okay, after so long, be like, oh, you need to retest. We got to do the eye exam. Why can't they do the same thing in the force? Test them again. Have them test. As a nurse, you got to keep your CEUs up and stay educated. So do you just go into the police academy? We're going to have to get Shades of Blue back on, Roogle. Because so we could get clear and concise information. It's like, do you, once you become a police officer, you just go up the ranks is there any more education? Because let's be real, we know the in-services. All you do is sign the paper and have people be asleep. And if they got refreshments, I'll be awake. Y'all already know I'm coming to the in-service. But I think people need to test out CPR. Every time you do CPR research, you got to take an exam at the end. Mm-hmm. So are we not doing that? Help me. Help a sister out.
I mean, what about the 13-year-old in Chicago that the police just killed? When the boy turned around with his hands up, yes, he had a gun and they did whatever. But, everybody said, well, he tossed the gun. Yeah, he tossed the gun, but he turned around and put his hands up. So therefore, the police officer had no business shooting him with his hands up.
You know what, though? Yes, it's about to be a war. Because if we know already, just like that, the lieutenant said he didn't feel comfortable. A lieutenant serving our country, thanks for your service too, who didn't feel comfortable getting out the car there. He pulled into a well-lit gas station and then had both his hands out the window. So he complied and he did everything, but they was upset because he was complying. They were upset that they couldn't kill him. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I need you to do one false move so that we can go ahead and oust you too. Even in his uniform.
And you know what's funny? I got to the point where I'll look at the comments on these news sites and everything from the Caucasians. Well, they should have complied. They should have did this. They should have did that. But them same people talk about our people complying and should have did this, should have did that, or shouldn't have did this. What about when your people are caught on camera fighting with police, swinging weapons at police, and they
and you're giving them water and stuff, right?
You giving them water, you taking them to the Burger King, asking them if they okay. You taking them down without a knee in the neck, without getting shot. None of that.
Without getting killed, and they done killed 100 people.
But it's okay for your people to come out straight, even though they're not complying. But let our people, they're not all Caucasians. because I know we got all walks of life watching. And please, I don't want y'all to take it the wrong way. But
girl, just take it. Take it. We've been taking it. Go ahead.
The comments that I be reading, I be want to say something so bad, but y'all listen. The next time I go off on Facebook, they gonna ban me for 30 days.
Again?
I be listen, because I be going in. I'm like, I need to just stop reading all this, because like, how is it okay for your race? And you know, they should comply this and that. You do have the white people to be on there arguing, and they'll bring it up. But what about, you know, some white people, our people, and this and that? I've been seeing it back and forth. But how is it okay? Y'all okay with that, but y'all not okay with us, and we comply and still get killed, and you say we didn't?
Because it's open season. I'm telling you, they had a meeting. They had a meeting, and this is what's going on. Because when you do everything right and still get killed, I'm telling you, it's a meeting. They get to get a trophy. They get a trophy, or they getting a medallion. I don't know what they getting, but it's open.
Need to bring the Black Panthers back. Then that's what it sounds like.
Listen, Roogle, what's happening in the movie world?
Man, so we talk about this whole topic, and I just seen a Netflix movie short that is actually got Oscar nomination. It's called The Distance Between Two Strangers. And it's basically a Groundhog Day event for an African American guy who has this run-in with this police officer. Every time it ends with him dying. Then he wakes up again, and it happens all over again. And he tries different approaches, all this sort of thing.
I saw that. It's good too.
Yeah, it's just so it's so well done and well acted, and so such an allegory for, like, it doesn't even matter what you do. You know, that's what I got out. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter if you did something. I mean, we talked about earlier how people are profiled and that sort of thing. And it's just the escalation that happens when that person has that power. It was just so... I'm glad it was short. It was only like 35 minutes, right? Because it said everything it needed to say in that time frame. And it was just so... It was just so good. I just encourage everyone to watch that. That was on Netflix. And now I will do this to kind of lighten the mood a little bit. We'll talk about some birthdays really quick here.
Tell us some birthdays.
Yeah. It's my birthday thing. Come on, I had all this set up. Okay, here we go. Okay, so you remember Kimberly
Elise?
I think it's
Elise?
Elise, is that how she says it?
Elise?
Yeah. Kimberly Elise.
Yeah. It's her birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
And also, I'll say this one for last so I can segue. Sunshine's birthday is today. Leela Rose.
Everybody knows Sunshine.
Yeah, she's 57.
Oh, wow.
And
she look great.
Kimberly is 54. Yeah. So this person I want to talk about today, her name is Kyla Drew, and she's 17 years old. The reason her name is being mentioned is because she is I guess I would say, like, the star of Jamie Foxx's new sitcom on Netflix.
Oh, okay. He got a new sitcom. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. So
that's it. Just
Yeah. It is such a shame. I mean, I watched it and I was like, I'm gonna get through it because okay. Jamie Foxx is there. You got what is his name? Alan. I'm about to mess up my whole segment here because I can't remember anybody's name. Alan Greer. What's his name?
David.
Alan Greer.
David Allen Greer.
Or David Greer.
David Allen Greer. It's him, David Allen Greer, on the show. I mean, they're the main headlining people. And it is this show, I don't know if it knows what it wants to be. It's supposed to be about Jamie Foxx as a father getting his daughter back because the mom, I guess she died or something, so the daughter moved from Chicago to live with him in Atlanta. I mean, and she's like the prototype good kid per se, you know, sort of thing. But there, you know, it has some highlight. It has some people that guest star like Jack A and Lunel, and you know, but it just falls flat in so many different ways, and it's just like they have this fourth wall break a lot that happens. It like for some reason I'm really not a fan of sitcoms that come on Netflix, and I don't know if it's like, you know, maybe because they give people autonomy to do their own thing. Granted, when you're on a network, they kind of like say, okay, we're going to help you develop this formula. This is what it needs, you know what I mean, sort of thing. And it just, it is, there's times where there's some good parts in it. There's times where there's some serious topics they want to talk about, but sometimes they want to end with like making it back comedy or whatever. And it just doesn't work, and it just seems to fall apart. It sometimes feels like they're just doing improvisation instead of like written lines.
Also, it loses the content.
Yeah, then there's a few different, because it wants to be Silver Spoons.
That was my favorite show.
But I mean, you know, it wants to be like Silver Spoons meets my Family Matters. You know, it just
didn't work for you.
Yeah, and you can tell maybe the production value, but I mean, it just has so many problems. But those two guys are some of the best sketch comedians that we've had in our generation.
Yeah, but they're not good on this.
Living Color, you know, and
Living Color developed some serious serious talent overall.
Yeah.
Do you think? And I know this is your segment, but do you think that sometimes when you can put too many people in there, they don't get to shine, and then it flops?
It ain't enough. It ain't the fact that it's over. There's too many people, because Lunel and Jack A, it's only 8. I think it's only 8 episodes.
Okay.
They're about 15 to 25 minutes apiece.
Okay.
But they're not in every episode. You know,
okay.
They're like in one episode. You know, so it's not like they're like guest hosts. The thing that makes it bad is that it has a little bit of Martin kind of sprinkled in there, and it's Jamie Foxx acting like other characters. Now
doing how he used to do when he was Wanda.
Yeah, but it's like not well done. It's not like it's like a returning character or something like that. It's like, oh, every few episodes, oh, he's the preacher. Oh, he's the uncle. Oh, he's the bartender. He's, you know, and it's not funny. Like it's not like it's like, and the thing is, I want to like it. I really do. I really want to like it. But for him to have an Oscar and other accolades and stuff like that, he's been nominated for Oscar twice. Maybe 3 times.
But it wasn't for that, though. It
wasn't for that, but I'm just saying, like, the level of acting on here,
it wasn't good.
It's like a very bad stage play.
Oh,
like it's not very good. It tries to be quippy. It
just didn't work.
It's kind of a mess. You know, and I feel bad because he's the executive producer of it, and him and some other gentleman. But it just feels like I would have hoped that if we were to get him back on the small screen, that it would have, because even this stuff when he was in the earlier sitcoms, I can't think of the name of
the Jamie Foxx show.
The Jamie Foxx show, yeah. There was another one though too, wasn't it? Or was it just the Jamie Foxx show?
I just know him from Living Color and the Jamie Foxx show, and I like the Jamie Foxx show. So like you said, you do need somebody to kind of
so the Jamie Foxx show,
it together.
It was like it's tons better. Tons. If you didn't like that show, then you will hate this show.
Oh, okay.
You would want to throw your TV out if you didn't like Jamie Foxx show, right? But if you like the Jamie Foxx show and then you want some semblance of what that could be again, this is not it.
Okay.
It's like there's too many different plot points that kind of lead to nowhere. Then there's just some things that it's like, to me, they could have scrapped the whole kid element out of it.
Okay.
But I think he's trying to make that generational thing happen. But I encourage you to watch it, but I watched it. But
that does not sound like encouragement.
Well, because I could be wrong, and I could be wrong, but I don't feel like I'm wrong.
Okay. Okay. You got anything else going on?
Yeah. Hold on, my phone. I got all caught up in that because I was just so disappointed,
Okay.
But the other thing is that there's going to be an HBO series, and it is from a book called Ohio that's being adapted.
Okay.
And I looked it up, and the guy, he's basically talking. The book is from this gentleman named Stephen Markley, and basically he's talking about his friends' experiences. Like, I guess they grow up, move away. Somebody comes back, they talk about their childhood or growing up in Ohio or something of that nature. It looks like it may take place in the southern part of the state.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see what that looks like. Oh. But also encouraged though too.
Speaking of that, there was a short that was called "Round on Both Sides" by Marquette Jones. "Round on Both Sides," Ohio. You get it? And so check that out. Hot Combs Production. "Round on Both Sides." Check that out and tell me what your thoughts are on that. We'll have to talk about it next week. Hey, listen, Roogle, real quick, I want to go ahead and wrap the show up. What would be some advice that you would give people about profiling overall? Not even just racially, but just overall.
I mean, the old adage is that, I can't even think what the adage is, but basically, a book is more than its cover or whatever it is.
Don't judge a book by its cover?
Yeah, there you go. Don't judge the book by its cover.
Okay, Nick. For profiling, any words?
Yeah, like you said, we're all guilty of it. We just really need to stop and try to get to know the person before you make a judgment.
Okay. All right. Well, today's footnote: don't judge my choices without understanding my reasons. All right, lovely people. I thank you guys for tuning in. I'm getting ready to head out. Hopefully you guys can come on over to Stop the Violence Ceasefire Rally and event. It's happening in the gym of the Boys and Girls Club from 1 to 4 p.m. today, April 17th. Come in, share your thoughts. I love the fact that there's a Q&A segment, and no, you don't have to write it down, and we have to get your questions earlier to see what the answer will be. The answer is from you guys, the public, the people. No question is a stupid question, and no answer is a stupid answer. So come on out. We want to hear your voice. We need your voice. We need your solutions, okay? Because you are the people. It's 2105 Oak Hill Avenue, hosted by Youngstown United as One. If you don't know Youngstown United as One or who they are, and you want to know who they are, for my listening audience that is not in the area, feel free to go to YouTube and you'll be able to click on that interview and you can actually meet some of the members of Youngstown United as One. The special guests will be those who lost loved ones and the impact that it had on their life. Lost loved ones to gun violence. Okay, so it's ceasefire, and the impact that has had on their life after the funeral. So that's my time, lovely people. I thoroughly enjoyed you as I do each and every single Saturday. I love my co-hosts. I love what you bring to the show. Nick and Roogle, the movie guy, he said he was encouraging us to watch that Netflix Jamie Foxx, but that wasn't no words of encouragement to me.
You see for yourself. I thought it was good and terrible.
You guys, okay, I'm gonna check it out. All right. Here you go. Hold on. I gotta end the show. Find you, embrace you. Most importantly, always love you. Until next week, people. Shop Talk. Right here on yourspeaker.com. And don't forget to like us on all socials, okay? All socials. Shop Talk with Mel.